Imagine a part of the internet where no rules apply, where your identity disappears, where laws are optional, and anything from weapons to identities to human organs can be bought with a few clicks. This isn't a fictional story or some secret agent movie. This is the real internet, just hidden from you. Welcome to the dark web. Most of us live on the surface, using Google, scrolling social media, checking emails. But beneath that shiny surface is a hidden world. A place you can't find on Chrome, Safari, or even with a Google search. It's not just private, it's encrypted, hidden, and crawling with secrets. They call it the dark web, and it's not just a hacker's playground or a criminal hideout. It's bigger, stranger, and far more complex than you think. So what's really going on beyond Google? What kind of information lives in the shadows? Who's using it, and why? In this video, we'll uncover 27 mind-blowing facts about the dark web. From leaked databases to underground markets, from whistleblower sanctuaries to government surveillance. This isn't just tech talk. This is digital reality. And by the end of this video, you'll never see the internet the same way again. 1. Only 4% of the internet is public. The rest is hidden. When we open our browsers and use Google, Facebook, or YouTube, we're only accessing a tiny portion of the actual internet, around 4%. The rest is called the deep web, and within that exists the dark web. The deep web contains databases, internal networks, and academic content that isn't indexed by search engines. But the dark web is different. It's intentionally hidden and only accessible through special tools like the Tor browser. Think of the internet as an iceberg. The part above water is the surface web, the deep web lies beneath it, and buried even deeper in the shadows is the dark web, where things get murky and dangerous. 2. The dark web can't be accessed with Google. You can't just type dark web into Google and expect a portal to open. That's not how it works. Accessing the dark web requires a browser called Tor, short for the onion router. This browser hides your identity by bouncing your connection through layers of encrypted nodes across the world. The websites on the dark web don't use typical domain names like .com or .net. Instead, they use .onion and often consist of random characters. These sites are unsearchable by standard engines, and their links often change frequently, making them elusive and nearly impossible to trace. 3. The Silk Road was the first dark web supermarket launched in 2011. The Silk Road changed the dark web forever. Created by Ross Ulbricht, aka Dread Pirate Roberts, it was essentially Amazon for illegal goods, primarily drugs. The platform ran on Bitcoin, which made transactions anonymous. Vendors were rated just like on eBay with customer service, return policies, and quality guarantees. At its peak, Silk Road had over 100,000 customers and handled more than $1 billion in sales. But in 2013, it was taken down by the FBI, and Ross Ulbricht was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Even after that, new markets kept popping up, learning from Silk Road's legacy and mistakes. 4th, weapons, hacking services, and even hitmen are advertised. While many users associate the dark web with drugs, it's also a hub for much darker services. Users have reported listings for untraceable weapons, hacking for hire, fake passports, stolen credentials, and even hitman services, though many of those are scams. Forums exist where hackers advertise DDoS attacks, social media breaches, and ransomware development. In one notorious example, a site offered revenge services, letting customers pay to have others harassed or exposed. Whether real or fake, the mere existence of such services paints a chilling picture of what some corners of the web have become. 5. Cryptocurrency is the lifeblood of the dark web. The anonymity of the dark web wouldn't exist without cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and later Monero and Ethereum allowed users to buy illegal products without using credit cards or PayPal. Every transaction on the blockchain is encrypted and tied only to digital wallets, not names or addresses. Even though Bitcoin isn't completely anonymous, users employ mixing services to obscure their digital trail. Monero, on the other hand, was built for complete privacy. It's nearly untraceable and is the go-to currency for newer dark web markets. Law enforcement struggles to track these transactions, which fuels the growth of these illegal marketplaces. 6. Not everything on the dark web is illegal. It might surprise you, but not every corner of the dark web is about crime. Many people use it for legitimate reasons, especially in countries where internet use is heavily monitored or censored. Journalists use it to communicate securely with whistleblowers. Political activists rely on it to organize in oppressive regimes. Even Facebook launched a .onion version of its site so users in censored regions can access it. The core idea behind the dark web is anonymity and freedom, which can be used for good as well as evil. In fact, several forums are strictly moderated to avoid illegal discussions and instead focus on privacy rights, technology, and social justice. This duality makes the dark web a paradox, both a sanctuary and a threat, depending on who's using it and how. 7. The dark web is constantly changing. Unlike regular websites that stay online for years, most sites on the dark web have a short lifespan. Some exist for only days or weeks before disappearing. This happens for several reasons: takedowns by law enforcement, scams that run their course, or operators who simply abandon them. URLs also change frequently due to security concerns or server migrations. There are even whole directories dedicated to collecting and updating .onion links, but even those can go stale quickly. This instability makes it extremely difficult for even experienced users to navigate. For law enforcement, it's a nightmare, because just when you've mapped something out, it's gone the next day. It's a shadow world in motion, always trying to stay a step ahead. 8. Law enforcement has deep web units. You might think the dark web is a lawless void, but governments around the world have specialized cyber units actively tracking and infiltrating it. Agencies like the FBI, EUPOL, and the UK's National Crime Agency have undercover officers posing as buyers and sellers on illegal marketplaces. They've even used advanced malware and server hacks to unmask administrators. One famous case was Operation Disruptor, where US authorities seized over $6.5 million in cryptocurrencies and arrested 179 people across multiple countries. Another tactic involves setting up fake markets to lure criminals into traps. The truth is, someone is always watching, even in the shadows. 9. There are dark web search engines, but they're limited. While Google doesn't index the dark web, there are search engines made specifically for it, like DuckDuckGo's .onion version or tools like Amia and Not Evil. These engines allow users to explore the dark web, but their indexes are limited, unreliable, and sometimes even manipulated. Unlike the surface web where SEO rules, most .onion sites aren't optimized for discovery. Many rely on word of mouth, forums, or hidden wiki pages for traffic. So even if you're using a dark web search engine, you're only scratching the surface of what's out there. The rest remains hidden, buried, or protected by access keys and passwords. 10. Dark web marketplaces use escrow systems. To reduce the risk of scams, many dark web markets use escrow systems, just like platforms like eBay or Fiverr. When a buyer places an order, the payment is held by the site until the product or service is delivered. Only then does the vendor get paid. This protects both parties and builds trust in an otherwise untrustworthy space. Vendors compete for good ratings, fast shipping, and product quality. Some markets even offer customer support, dispute resolution, and refund policies. It's disturbingly organized, like a criminal version of Amazon, with better anonymity and worse morals. 11th. Stolen data is a huge business. One of the biggest commodities on the dark web is stolen data. Credit card numbers, bank logins, email accounts, medical records, you name it. Hackers breach large databases and then sell that information in bulk. A single login might cost just a few dollars, but full identity kits, called Full Z, can go for hundreds. These packages include everything needed to impersonate someone: name, date of birth, SSN, address, and more. Some cyber criminals use this data for fraud directly, while others sell it to third parties. In 2023 alone, over 10 billion records were leaked, and many ended up for sale on the dark web. 12. Identity theft often starts on the dark web. When someone's identity gets stolen, the trail often leads back to the dark web. Criminals buy personal data and use it to open bank accounts, apply for loans, or even commit crimes in someone else's name. Victims usually have no idea until months later when they see strange charges, collection notices, or get denied credit. Some criminals will even clone entire profiles, creating synthetic identities using real and fake information mixed together. These synthetic identities are harder to trace and can live for years. If your data has ever been in a breach, there's a chance it's already been bought or sold in the hidden corners of the internet. 13. Dark web forums discuss advanced hacking tactics. Many forums on the dark web are dedicated not to products, but to knowledge, specifically hacking knowledge. These communities share techniques on phishing, malware creation, bypassing security systems, and breaking into corporate databases. Some are invite-only, with members having to prove their skills before gaining access. There are even schools that offer full courses on becoming a hacker, complete with tutorials, assignments, and mentorships. While not all members are experts, the amount of technical knowledge shared is astonishing and terrifying. These forums act as a breeding ground for the next generation of cyber criminals. 14. Not all hitman for hire services are real. If you browse the dark web long enough, you'll come across services that claim to offer murder for hire. These hitman sites promise to eliminate your enemies for a price, usually payable in Bitcoin or Monero. But here's the twist. Nearly all of them are scams. Investigators have found that these services take money and disappear. In some cases, they were actually sting operations set up by law enforcement. But the mere existence of such listings is deeply disturbing and raises questions about the kinds of people browsing these markets. It's not just about what's real, as it's about what's possible. 15. Cybersecurity companies monitor the dark web. Many legitimate cybersecurity firms now offer dark web monitoring as a service. They scan hidden forums, marketplaces, and chat groups for leaked credentials related to their clients. If a company's email list or customer database appears on a known site, they're alerted and can take action quickly. Some firms also use AI to monitor threats in real time, looking for mentions of brand names, product vulnerabilities, or corporate sabotage plans. This arms race approach is part of a growing field known as threat intelligence. It's no longer just criminals watching the dark web. Companies are now watching them back. 16. The dark web uses cryptocurrency for transactions. Cash doesn't work in the digital underworld, and that's where cryptocurrency comes in. Bitcoin is the most commonly used form of payment on the dark web, although privacy-focused coins like Monero and Zcash are gaining popularity. Unlike credit cards, crypto allows for anonymous transactions without traditional banks or verification steps. But here's the catch. Bitcoin is only pseudo-anonymous. Every transaction is recorded on a public blockchain. If your wallet is ever linked to your identity, your whole transaction history can be traced. That's why some criminals use mixing services or privacy coins like Monero, which are harder to track. Crypto has revolutionized the dark web, enabling global trade in illegal goods. But it's also the very thing that lets law enforcement trace activity when combined with blockchain forensics. In this shadowy economy, your digital wallet is your passport, and sometimes your undoing. 17. Buying fake passports and IDs is common. One of the most alarming things for first-time dark web explorers is seeing real-looking passports, driver's licenses, and even university degrees for sale. These documents are often used for identity theft, illegal immigration, or financial fraud. Some sellers even offer custom packages. You upload your photo and they ship you a fake passport under a new name. High-end listings may include biometric-enabled IDs or social security numbers to pass verification systems. Prices vary depending on the country. US, UK, and EU documents are the most expensive. Unfortunately, many buyers get scammed with fake or non-delivered products. Still, others receive documents that are hard to distinguish from real ones. This thriving underground market poses a serious global security threat. It's not just about printing fake IDs, it's about creating new people on paper. 18. Illegal drugs are one of the most traded items. When you think of the dark web, one of the first things that comes to mind is drug trafficking, and for good reason. Illegal drugs account for a huge chunk of dark web transactions. You'll find everything from marijuana and LSD to heroin and fentanyl, available in various quantities and qualities. Buyers choose based on seller ratings and reviews, just like Amazon. Vendors ship products in stealth packaging, often disguised as everyday items. Postal services around the world unknowingly carry these illegal parcels. One of the largest drug markets, Silk Road, was taken down in 2013, but many similar platforms have taken its place. The convenience, variety, and anonymity of drug markets on the dark web have changed the game for both users and dealers, making it both easier and riskier than ever before. 19. Some whistleblowers use the dark web to stay safe. Not everyone on the dark web is a criminal. Some people are trying to expose criminals, especially governments or corporations. Whistleblowers often use anonymous tools like SecureDrop or Global Leaks to share confidential documents with journalists. These platforms are hosted on the dark web to protect the identities of the whistleblowers. Edward Snowden, for example, used encrypted tools to leak classified NSA documents. And systems like these allowed his communications to remain secure. In authoritarian countries, these tools can mean the difference between life and death. The dark web becomes a safe haven for truth-tellers, a secret digital cave where brave people risk everything to tell the world what's happening behind closed doors. 20. Human trafficking. Rumors are largely unproven. One of the darkest and most disturbing rumors about the dark web involves human trafficking and abuse. While some people claim to have found forums or listings related to trafficking, there's very little verified evidence of it happening in large-scale marketplaces. Most of these claims are based on hoaxes, clickbait videos, or exaggerated reports. That doesn't mean trafficking doesn't happen. It just means the dark web isn't as openly involved as some think. Law enforcement agencies continue to investigate, but many of the most horrifying stories, like red rooms where people are tortured live on camera, have been debunked. Still, the fear exists because the dark web could hide such activity. And that's enough to keep people suspicious. It's the mystery, not the proof, that keeps this fear alive. 21. Red rooms are mostly myths. Perhaps the most terrifying dark web legend is the Red Room, a live-streamed torture or murder broadcast to paying viewers. These stories say viewers can even vote on how the victim should be harmed. While it's a common horror story across Reddit, YouTube, and creepypasta forums, actual evidence of such live broadcasts is lacking. Security experts and journalists who have explored the dark web extensively have found no credible proof of a Red Room existing. It's more likely a mix of myth, paranoia, and internet urban legend. Although some believe private streams might happen through encrypted networks. The fear of red rooms is real, but like many legends, they mostly live in our imagination. That doesn't make the dark web safe, just not as cinematic as people think. 22. Political dissent is organized through the dark web. In countries where freedom of speech is restricted, the dark web serves a powerful purpose: resistance. Dissidents, protest organizers, and political refugees use it to communicate without being tracked by their governments. Messaging apps like Ricochet, email services like Proton Mail over Tor, and hidden forums all play a role in digital resistance movements. Arab Spring activists, for example, used encrypted services to organize rallies and share news when their internet was being censored. In China, some use Tor to bypass the Great Firewall. For them, the dark web isn't a threat, it's a lifeline. It allows oppressed people to fight back using technology and anonymity as their shield. 23. Tor is just one of many anonymity networks. Most people think Tor is the only way to access the dark web, but it's not alone. I2P, Invisible Internet Project, Freenet, and ZeroNet are alternative anonymity networks that also host hidden services. Each has its own system of encryption, routing, and privacy layers. For example, I2P is popular for peer-to-peer file sharing and secure email. Freenet focuses more on censorship-resistant publishing. These networks aren't as large or as well-known as Tor, but they provide additional spaces for both activists and criminals to operate under the radar. Some services even run on multiple networks to expand their reach. Understanding that there's not just one dark web, but many, makes it clear how complex and fragmented this hidden world really is. 24. Accessing the dark web can be dangerous. While Tor and other tools make it easy to visit the dark web, doing so isn't without risk. Many hidden sites are booby-trapped with malware, phishing links, or spyware that can infect your system or steal your data. Simply clicking the wrong link could give hackers access to your webcam, microphone, or saved passwords. That's why experts recommend using a dedicated system or virtual machine, disabling scripts, and never downloading files unless you absolutely trust the source. There's also the psychological risk. Seeing disturbing images, encountering unsettling communities, or being exposed to illegal content can leave lasting emotional effects. It's not a place to explore for curiosity alone. You need to know the rules, the dangers, and the ethics of going deeper. 25. Dark web communities have their own rules. Just like on Reddit or Discord, dark web forums and marketplaces have their own cultures and rules. Some ban scams, spam, or violence-related content. Others require users to go through vetting processes before gaining access. Reputation matters here. Vendors and buyers are rated by others, and repeat offenders are blacklisted. The result is a complex web of communities, each with their own norms, values, and enforcers. In the chaos of the dark web, order still finds a way. 26. The dark web has inspired Hollywood and pop culture. From TV shows like Mr. Robot to documentaries like Deep Web, the mysterious world beneath the internet has fascinated Hollywood. It's often portrayed as a dark, neon-lit labyrinth filled with hackers, killers, and twisted crimes, sometimes exaggerating, sometimes reflecting real issues. Movies and shows often use the dark web to heighten suspense or create villains with technical skills and chilling motives. While many dramatizations are inaccurate, they do reflect public anxiety about what goes on in the hidden corners of the net. This attention has made the term dark web both cool and terrifying, turning it into a symbol of our fear of the unknown. 27. Governments use the dark web. 2. Here's a twist. It's not just criminals using the dark web. Governments do too. Intelligence agencies use anonymous networks to gather information, monitor threats, and even run sting operations. Some governments also host secret communication channels or use dark web forums to interact with informants. There are reports of military contractors monitoring black markets to track the sale of stolen weapons or leaked data. In cyber warfare, blending into the background is key, and the dark web provides the perfect disguise. Ironically, the same tools built for privacy and freedom are used by the most powerful forces on Earth. In this world, everyone wears a mask, even the people making the rules. Now that we've peeled back the digital curtain and uncovered 27 shocking truths about the dark web, one thing is clear: this hidden world isn't just one-dimensional. It's a paradox, a place where freedom collides with fear, where anonymity empowers both heroes and criminals. For every journalist seeking safety, there's a hacker selling stolen identities. For every whistleblower exposing corruption, there's a scammer exploiting the vulnerable. And in between all of it are everyday people. Curious, cautious, sometimes careless. The dark web isn't inherently evil, it's a tool. And like any tool, its impact depends on who's using it. And for what? It can be a sanctuary or a snare, a weapon or a shield. It's not black and white. It's shadows and gray. So maybe the real question isn't what's on the dark web. Maybe it's, why do people keep going back? If this deep dive opened your eyes, just imagine what else is hiding in the digital underworld. Like, share, and subscribe if you want more explorations into the unseen side of the internet. Hit the bell so you never miss another hidden truth. Got a question, theory, or experience with the dark web? Drop it in the comments, anonymously or not. Stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, in the age of information, your attention is the real currency.